Master your reality as a man, you need to master your sexual impulse, and retaining your seed is how you break the Matrix's control over you. Let's talk about the ancient power of semen retention and how not doing so does actually make you lose your power as man. We're going to cover today what is the true ancient principle behind semen retention. We're going to cover as well why the ancients emphasize this as so incredibly important for men to connect with their divine masculinity. We're going to cover the science behind it as well, and finally, of course, what to actually do with your sexual impulse. I'm not just gonna leave you in the air, right? So let's get started. So what really is semen retention? You've probably seen this a lot with No Nut November, but there is a deeper spiritual purpose to this. So when you retain your seed as a man, you're channeling life force energy towards reality creation, which is so powerful. Let me explain why. Mars rules the male body. This is why the male sex symbol is after the Mars planet, right? The planet Mars symbol in astrology is the same exact symbol for the male sex for a reason. This is because the male body is created after the divine masculine energy, and the divine masculine energy is usually related to the Mars planet, right? Because Mars is really the planet of willpower, vitality, impulse of life force. It is the one that gives life conditions where it thrives, because before Mars was recognized as a planet of war, right? Because it's ruled by the god Ares. That's a whole other video. It was also recognized as the planet of agriculture, right? The god of agriculture. Because when you're able to channel this life force that Mars provides for you, you're able to create conditions in your life where you thrive, where you grow, where things are expanding. And although everybody does have both masculine and feminine energies, for men to truly align with their potential, they need to learn how to work with this impulse, because they do have more sexual impulse than women do. This is why Mars also rules the genital sexual impulse. And I say this because there are different energy points in men than women, because of course the male and female body are created after the divine feminine and divine masculine energies. So there are different energetic points since we are meant to complement each other. I'm gonna put a little graph here so you understand what I'm trying to say. So men have a deeper connection with the root chakra because simply they are rulers of the conscious mind and the external world, right? The physical world. But that's also because Mars rules the genitals, and men tend to have more directive or active energy in the root, right? What their genitals are. This is why men, they penetrate the woman in a sense, right? They hold that seed of life force energy in their genitals. This is why it projects outwards. But what happens when men don't really know how to control their sexual impulse? They leak it everywhere, okay? They begin leaking it out, and eventually it does actually run out. It makes them lose their power to create and also their connection to the spiritual. Let me tell you a little more about divine masculine energy, what is really for, right? How it works. So divine masculine energy is the energy that is meant to give order to the feminine, that is meant to give structure and actually use the vision, the love, the vision, the dream, right, which comes from the feminine, and put it into action to make it a real thing, to make the internal the external, okay? So divine masculine energy is really the realm of the external, the conscious mind, the identity, the ego. And the ego is not really about when I'm saying ego, I mean like your identity, right, yourself, and the ability to discern and put boundaries. So since it is the ruler of the external, it would also be the realm of the conscious mind, right? Which is of course external, but the conscious mind comes along with rationality, the ability to think, the ability to structure your thoughts. And because it is the ruler of the external, it is also the ruler of the conscious mind. And the conscious mind is really the ability to think, the ability to discern, to remember, to learn new things. So although once again, everybody does have these two energies inside of them, in ancient Greece, they viewed the most highest form of masculinity as the concept of Andrea, which is courage expressed through physical action, mastery of the mind, mastery of the spirit. So that's the thing about having a male body, because everybody does have their body for a reason. You thrive as a man when you begin to actually implement the masculine energy in a healthy way within your body, because your body was created to concentrate more masculine energy. You are meant to be a ruler of the physical world, right? Like your physique, your mind, the conscious mind. And that is exactly what frequent ejaculation tarnishes. So the Taoists had a super similar concept to what I'm saying right now. They actually believed that life force energy would reside inside a man's semen, and this would be called yin. So this yin energy would allow a man to step into divine masculinity, his yang energy, and actually have more willpower, have greater mastery over the forging of his reality, be able to have greater mental clarity, like knowing exactly what he wants to do in his life, knowing what direction he wants to take and not being lost, and also greater mental creativity as well, being able to come up with ideas, to have visions and actually put them into reality. And the thing about the yin energy inside Taoism is that they believed they needed so much to take care of this energy, because when it ran out, the person would die. I'm not saying that you're gonna die if you run out of this energy, but what I'm saying is that it was so serious to them that they really did believe death would happen if you were to waste this energy. I'm gonna give you a deeper dive into also why this is so important. And the reason why in the beginning of the video I told you that you lose your power as a man when you leak your sexual energy out. And it's a little bit more serious than just, leaking it out, okay? The reason why I say that is because the more that you leak this life force energy out, what actually makes you a divine masculine, what helps you be centered and use your masculinity to forge your reality. When you begin to leak that out, where do you think you go? You begin to go more in the feminine energy. Because when you lack willpower, you lack direction, right? Clarity on the things that you really want to do. You like taking action, actually forging your reality the way that you want it to. A man without these attributes to him is a passive man. It's a man that has no direction. It's a man that has no ability to create things. It's a man who can't think for himself. It's a man who cannot concentrate his energy. It's a man who gets too in the emotions as well, loses motivation in life, and you end up becoming impotent. And the thing about that is that you are so much easier to control when you are in the state of being passive. So this is why you see the entertainment having so much hypersexualization. So much. You see OnlyFans model on social media all the time. Porn being so normalized. Our music is filled with degeneracies and just this overall very hypersexual culture that we're seeing on the rise more than ever right now. Why do you think that is? It's to make you passive. It's to make you lose your power as a man. And I'm telling you, this stuff is not like a coincidence or they're just like doing this just because they know about this. They know about everything I'm telling you, okay? So this is why they are targeting your sexual energy. Let me give you some perspective by telling you this story. So there was this one time where my husband and I went to our friend's bar and we were there chilling with him, where my husband went to go talk to his friend and I ended up, sitting alone, and this dude who was like on the table right in front of me, he said hi, and then I'm like, hey, what's up? And if you're in Brazil, like everybody speaks with each other, it's like totally normal. My husband and I were very secure in our relationship, so he really doesn't mind. And I went up to him and I'm just like, hey, like, what's up? And we started speaking, but this dude, I swear to God, when he was speaking to me, he had this voice that was like, very high-pitched and kind of very creepy. And nothing that the man said specifically was creepy, but it was his energy, his mannerism that was very strange. And his way of speaking, it sounded like he was very feminine, but at the same time, he was looking at me with predator eyes. And I was very uncomfortable by the presence of this man, so I ended the conversation super quick. I was like, man, like this man's energy is like very strange. I can see he's very skinny. He doesn't take much care of himself. His voice is very high-pitched as well. His energy is just overall very creepy, especially because how he was looking at me and how he was speaking to me. And then I ended up telling my husband, and I'm like thinking like, why is this man like so, like I can see how lustful this man was, but at the same time he was so feminine. And then it dawned on me like, damn, like this dude is addicted to porn. And I just knew in my heart this man was just wasting his life force energy, and I can see that in him, that he had no life force energy, yet he was very lustful. And you can see that in his physique as well. That's why he was so skinny. You can see that he doesn't have like that self-love that comes along with the masculine energy, that identity and that discipline to take care of himself. You could see that in his physique. So anyways, I hope that gave you some perspective on what I'm really talking about and how it looks like in real life. I'm gonna now give you some science. Alright, so I'm gonna be reading them off my computer because it's a lot of things that I have gathered here that I really want to make sure that you know about. So sexual overstimulation causes reduced prefrontal cortex control, and that's actually the part of your brain that's responsible for decision making, willpower, for cognitive function, everything that we just spoke about. Basically what they found in this study is that men with sexual overstimulation have super similar neural pathways as drug addicts. With reduced top-down control, heightened reward sensitivity to sexual stimuli, which basically desensitizes you, of course, and at the same time, your reward system is messed up, so you're going to get access to reward with no willpower, and that's how you get wired for life as well. Difficulty sustaining attention and goal-oriented behavior, which obviously affects your focus, your willpower, your dopamine, and difficulty, of course, holding long-term goals. This, of course, applies to any type of ejaculation, by the way, whether it's intercourse, masturbation. There's also another one that has to do with porn. Of course, we're reducing gray matter in the prefrontal cortex. Oh my god, that word is so hard. Which weakens your functional connectivity in reward, right? Which, you know, obviously you don't have to execute anything to get the reward. So once again, it messes your willpower up. I wanted you to know that not only does it affect your willpower, but it literally gives you mental fog. You have no direction in your head. You don't even know where to direct your energy. You're just leaking out. Scientifically, you also can see here that when dopamine circuits are consistently overstimulated, you lose motivation. Okay, you lose the ability to have a drive. But there's also studies that show the amazing effects of semen retention. Like, for example, they did a study where they gathered a bunch of men, and after 7 days of abstaining from any type of ejaculation and actually retaining their seed, their testosterone increased by 145% just in 7 days. It also helps you with your executive function, your ability to focus and have attention on things. Remember, where you focus, your energy grows. So if you don't know how to focus your energy and put attention on the things that you actually desire, you're cooked, literally. More energy, more vitality, more drive. This is all scientifically proven. As you can see, seed retention is so much deeper than just like No Nut November. It's so powerful for men, okay? If you really want to master your reality, you want to master yourself, you want to actually create something amazing with your life, control your lust, because your sexual impulse is so powerful about you, right? Your life force energy is so precious, but if it leaks out and goes everywhere, you're going to have other people controlling your mind for you. All right, so what can you do with your sexual impulse instead? That's a good question, because you can do so many things, right? You're meant to do things with it. The first thing that I recommend you to do is writing. Writing is so important because the moment that you feel horny, that's actually the moment that you have the most creativity inside of you and you need to take it out, okay? So writing can actually help you develop insane amount of divine ideas that you can actually put into action. Second thing, put action, right? Take action. If you have goals, begin to structure them out, begin to reverse engineer them and actually take action towards them, because that energy is meant to be channeled into the external in some way, shape, or form. The other thing is martial arts. There's a reason why martial arts is called martial arts, because it's meant to tame the Mars energy inside of you. Okay, so begin to actually use this life force energy to build your body, to go and train. And martial arts helps you discipline this as well, right? So not only working out, which is amazing for men as well, like, you know, muscle building, but channeling this energy towards the disciplined martial arts is going to change your life forever. It doesn't always need to be martial arts though, by the way, although I always recommend men to get into that because it was literally created for that. But also running, swimming, going and, you know, working out again, or doing any type of physical activity. Another thing that you can do is also create art. Remember that your life force energy is very creative energy, and art is a way that us humans have to express ourselves. Now, I know that it's not gonna be easy for you to stop like right away, okay? Because a lot of the time, especially if you're somebody who has been addicted to porn, who has been addicted to overall ejaculating, it's not gonna be easy for you to stop immediately. Maybe it is, right? I've known people that have stopped cold turkey and changed their lives forever, but there's gonna be a lot of temptations on the way, okay? And one thing that I really do recommend you to do, especially when you're dealing with temptations, as somebody who has dealt with this specific addiction, I know it's completely different for women, right? But I have dealt with addiction overall, not just to this, but a lot of other things. And one thing about addiction is that you can actually breathe through cravings. The way that I recommend you to do it is that imagine that when you get that craving, imagine that the craving is like this ball that you're pushing up this hill and you're breathing through it, right? And then you push it to the hill, and once you get to the top of the hill, the ball comes down and you can feel it coming down and the craving begins to actually go away. And then if you can breathe through your cravings every single time and actually, once again, do all of these different physical things I just told you to do, like writing, like structuring your ideas, like taking action on them, right? Business, whatever it is, physical as well, your mental discipline is going to strengthen so much, and eventually it's not gonna be very hard for you. Another thing that I really recommend that you do is to program your algorithm to not show you any like hypersexuality. Like if you have girls all over your algorithm, reprogram it, right? You can actually choose different cool things, right? To show you maybe athletics, to show you art, to show you whatever, right? But get away from the lustful stuff. Even the music, try to slow it down with that as well. And if you cave in, it's okay, it happens, you know, don't beat yourself up over it either. But again, redirect your energy towards what your goal is, which is to retain your seed. Anyways, I know this was a pretty interesting topic. It's one that you guys actually recommended and I listened to because it is something that is so important for men. And I really do know the power that this has over men and how much their lives can change by doing this one thing, which a lot of people don't have too much importance of, but it really is so important. And it's directly being attacked right now with all of the things that are going on in the world for you to just waste all this life force. If you have any questions regarding this topic, go ahead and comment them below so I can make a post about it. And if you're a man who resonated with all of this and you're ready to toss aside all of these distractions so you can go ahead and forge the reality you know God created you to live, all through the mastery of the mind using the law of duality, that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching you in my 12-week transformation. And you can find how we can work together using the link below and take advantage because there is an early bird access for men right now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're somebody who enjoys the esoteric mysteries of reality, go ahead and subscribe. I'm Ira Morphy, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.